So, you want to know how I died? How the great Genghis Khan, lord of the steppes, terror of empires, master of war, finally fell? Well, let me tell you something. I wasn't supposed to die. Men like me were not meant for sickness, for accidents, for some quiet, pitiful end. We're meant for battle, for blood, for a warrior's death, sword in hand, laughing in the face of the gods. And yet death found me anyway. The bastard. But before we get to that, let's go back. Because a man like me doesn't just die. No, my death was written in the stars long before I ever took my last breath. I was born in blood, raised in hardship. My father, poisoned. My family, cast out into the wilderness to die. But I survived. I became a warlord, a ruler, a living god of battle. I didn't just build an empire, I became the empire. From the mountains of China to the deserts of Persia, the world was mine, until it wasn't. The year was 1227. I was deep in battle, as always. This time, it was the Western Xia dynasty in China. Those fools thought they could defy me, thought they could resist the wrath of the Mongols. Big mistake. We were tearing through their lands like wildfire, city after city crumbling beneath my army. Victory was inevitable. I could already taste it, like the scent of fresh blood on steel. And then, something happened. Something I never expected. I was wounded. Now, you might be wondering, what kind of wound could take down me? Well, that's the mystery, isn't it? History can't quite agree on how it happened. Some say I was shot with an arrow, right between the legs. Yes, down there, a painful, humiliating wound. Others say I fell from my horse, breaking bones that would never heal. Either way, it was bad. And trust me, I'd had plenty of wounds before. Swords, arrows, ambushes, I had walked away from them all. But this time, I wasn't walking away from anything. You ever fall off a horse going full speed? No? Then let me tell you, it feels like getting hit by a mountain. One moment, I was riding like the wind. The next, the world flipped. The sky turned to earth, and crack. Pain like fire shot through me. My warriors rushed to me, faces pale. They had never seen me like this before. Genghis Khan does not fall. But there I was, lying in the dirt, gasping like a dying wolf. I had never felt weaker, and I hated it. But did I stop fighting? Ha! You don't know me at all. Even wounded, even broken, I refused to let my men see me as weak. I forced myself up, forced myself back onto my horse, forced myself to keep leading the war. Because what was the alternative? Giving up? Dying in a tent like some soft-bellied king? No. I was Genghis Khan. If I was going to die, it would be on my own terms. So we kept marching. We burned their cities, we slaughtered their armies. But with every step, I could feel it. Death was following me, like a shadow, like a whisper in the wind. Then the fever came. It started slow, creeping into my bones, burning in my veins. At first I ignored it. I had ignored worse. But it got stronger. My body weakened. The pain turned unbearable. Every breath felt like fire. Every step felt like a battle. But I did not complain. I did not beg. I let no one see my suffering. Because if I showed weakness, if my men believed I was dying, the empire could crumble. And that scared me more than death itself. Because my empire? It was not built to last. I had spent my entire life waging war, carving out a kingdom from the bones of my enemies. But peace was a different kind of battle. And I knew that once I was gone, my sons would turn on each other like starving wolves. I had raised warriors, not rulers. And without me, the world I had built would start to break. But I wasn't dead yet. Not yet. Lying there in my tent, the fever consuming me, I realized something. I was mortal. It was almost funny. I had spent my life defying death, laughing in its face, and yet here I was, dying like any other man. I had seen thousands of men die. Kings, warriors, traitors, peasants. They all died the same, gasping, struggling, fading. I never thought I'd be one of them, but now I had no choice. And then came the end. My sons stood beside me, faces grim. My generals knelt, waiting for my final command. I took one last breath. The air smelled of sweat, of war, of the Mongol steppes I would never see again, and I spoke my last words. Do not let the world know I am dead. Then the darkness took me. But you know what's funny? My death wasn't the end of my story. My men followed my last command to the letter. They hid my death. No grand funerals, no mourning. As far as the world knew, Genghis Khan still lived. And my army? They made sure no one ever found my grave. Some say 1,000 horses trampled over it to erase all traces. Some say every soldier who buried me was executed, so no one could reveal the location. To this day, no one knows where I am buried. And so I disappeared. No tomb, no shrine, no name carved into stone, just whispers in the wind, just legends passed from mouth to mouth. Some say I was buried beneath a river, the waters forever hiding me. Others say a secret mountain holds my bones, but the truth, you'll never find me, because I was never meant to rest. And so here I am, a ghost, a legend, a whisper in the dark. I was born in war, I lived in war, and even in death I ride the storm. My empire fell, my sons fought, the world moved on. But my name still shakes the earth, because I was Genghis Khan, and even death was not enough to conquer me. So tell me, was it the fall that killed me, the fever, the infection, or was it simply fate? Does it even matter? Because I won. Even in death I won. And if you listen closely, in the howling wind, in the clash of swords, in the whispers of kings yet to rise, you can still hear me, riding forever.